There has been many new flight sim controls have been released on the market in the past 18 months due to the success of the next generation flight simulators. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Turtle Beach Velocity One flight stick. If you're in the market for a new flight sim controls or looking at something to update to, the Velocity One flight stick is something you should consider. In this video, we will let you know our thoughts on the flight stick, so stay tuned and let's jump into the video. Before we jump into the nuts and bolts of the video, here's a quick disclaimer. Turtle Beach did send us over the Velocity One flight stick to the channel to do a review. That being said, they don't get to see this video beforehand or have any influence on my opinions. All these thoughts and comments on the video are all my own. I've actually been using the stick for over 6 months now and gotten plenty of virtual flying hours over that time. So my opinions are not just opinions after a couple of days of using and slapping a video together. It's more of a long-term point of view, but more on that shortly. Turtle Beach has been in the gaming industry for a long time, dating back to the mid-70s with their software products and a very successful rebranding to a gaming headsets in the mid-2000s to this day. Turtle Beach has continued with its headset success and branched out to gaming controls, and in the past couple of years, flight sim controls with a release of the Velocity One yoke and then the rudder pedals and now the flight stick. We have previously reviewed the yoke and the rudder pedals, so I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check out those videos after this one. The Velocity One flight stick, like their other flight sim controls in the lineup, works both on Xbox and PC for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Although my experience with this stick has just been on PC, the experience on Xbox is much the same. The stick itself is a high precision 8-axis flight stick with a multi-function throttles and flap levers. It has a POV hat switch with a rapid fire trigger and a whopping 27 programmable buttons integrated with an OLED flight management display that is used with a flight configuration wheel. The stick is very accurate, and I found straight out of the box it didn't really need to be customized with any sensitivity setting. I pretty much used the same settings from the get-go to this day. I did find it took a little bit to get used to the stick itself, as I found it quite stiff and it needed a downward pressure to stop the stick from tipping over. The stick has a very stiff spring and the stick always wants to go back to the center, so you need to apply a little bit of pressure. After some time getting used to it, I found it was very comfortable for short and long-term sessions with the flight simulator. Velocity One flight stick works well both on a desk and it can be mounted onto a flight sim cockpit using the screws that are mounted in the holes underneath the bottom of the base. The stick is ambidextrous, so you can swap it around if you're right or left-handed. Multi-function throttle flaps levers are found on each side and they include detents, so they can be used with reverse thrust if needed. These are a great addition if you don't have any throttle controls and you don't need to go and purchase any. As for me, I ended up unbounding both of these as I use additional throttle controls, but I still think they are a great addition to the stick. The flight stick has 27 buttons that are included, so you can pretty much bind anything that is useful in a flight simulator to the flight stick. The buttons include Xbox navigation buttons on the left side, as well as additional 4 buttons on the right. Each of those buttons can be programmed twice, so you have a lot of buttons there. There's also a rapid trigger with additional buttons on top of the flight stick on each side. There is a nice handy trim wheel in the middle and a little mouse type touchpad sensor as well. And also there's 2 hat switches. All the buttons do feel of a high quality, very robust and well made, and they've fared very well over the last 6 months I've been using the flight stick. When it comes to software and profiles that are included with the flight stick, it works straight out of the box with no problem at all. I personally unbounded pretty much everything and customized the stick to my liking, including the hat switches, as I found the profile settings were pretty much over the top, and it was easy to see that the Turtle Beach team was really taking advantage of the 27 button configuration and basically bounding as much as they can do to the stick. For me, there was too many things bounded together and I forgot what was what, so I basically pulled everything out and did my own default profile and opted for a more simple approach. All the settings in the configuration menu are stored on the joystick board, so you can configure the flight stick in real time using the flight management display and the rotary dial at the click base, which is a nice touch so you don't have to jump into separate software to change the settings like this. However, I did find that once I had the Velocity 1 flight stick set up to my liking, I rarely went back to any of the menus unless I wanted to change the LEDs to a different color. That being said, there is also an optional mobile app that can be connected with an Android or Apple device to make changes to the stick as well. However, I never found the need to use it as I use this with PC, but I would think that would be pretty handy when it comes for Xbox simmers. The Turtle Beach Velocity stick is constructed well. It's made primarily of high-graded plastics, rubber and metals. All the buttons and hat switches, trim wheels and throttles feel great and have the same high quality feel as the stick itself. I've been using this stick for the last 6 months for the most part of it and haven't seen any reductions in quality wear over that time. When comparing the Velocity 1 flight stick with a number of other different joysticks I have in my collection, and also taking price into consideration, the Turtle Beach Velocity holds its own, and it's very well-rounded stick when it comes to all the bells and whistles, and it's ranked very highly when it comes to flight sticks in my opinion on the market for console, and compares well with other sticks around about the same market for PC. As I mentioned during the video, my only judgment of the stick is how stiff the spring is. That being said, I did get used to the feeling after a while, and now I don't really notice it. I look forward to using this Velocity flight stick for many hours in the sim. I definitely think it's worth value for money, and you can pick up the flight stick from many retailers throughout the globe, in store or online. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check out the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 website to check out some more information. And if you have used the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight stick or you own one, we would love to hear your comments below, and we will see you in another video soon.